Today, I'm at the Chicago Auto Show, and I'm going to fulfill a request that a lot of you have given me, which is, hey Tom, we want to see the Lucid Air. And I know there's a lot of other videos out there, but you've asked me for one, so we're going to fulfill that request. We just haven't been able to get our hands on one until today. So let's take a look at what we have, and we'll start here with the front end. A lot of illumination going on here with lights going all the way across with your daytime running lights. Also, that Lucid logo illuminated in light right there. When you see the Lucid Air at night, you don't question what it is. It's just kind of projecting itself out and saying, I don't fit in. It's really kind of the EV that you may want to really keep your eyes on if you're wanting a sedan and you're saying to yourself, you know, the Teslas were all cool and everything when they first came out, but the more you look at them, the more you sit in them, the more you realize they're kind of cheaply made for the price. Sorry, Elon. But that's the situation. And something interesting here is the headlights. These are the thinnest in the industry. There's no other vehicle that has any headlights that are thinner than that. And then also we're going to have the vertical light right here. That really matches. In fact, I like how it kind of glistens off of right here. Just a very elegant look as far as the front end goes. Everything is just right. Obviously, you're going to have a battery that's going to power the vehicle that needs to be cooled. So we're going to have air coming in here. All of that is going to work. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but it is here. And then within this area right here, quite a bit of space, that's for sure. Now, you can remove this area right here. I'm not going to do too much with that, but just to kind of show you what's underneath. That actually will come off completely if you wanted to remove that. I'm not going to do that, but pretty impressive. Now, one of the things with any EV, obviously, aerodynamics is key. Reducing drag, increasing aerodynamics will help increase the time that your charge capacity lasts. And one of the ways that this happens is with wheel design. So, in this case, we're going to have a 245 on the width tire, 40 series sidewall. And then when we look at our wheel design right here, tell me what you think about that, because obviously it's not traditional. A lot of the time when I see wheels like that, I kind of just think, yeah, I'm not too crazy about that. It doesn't look that great. It kind of looks gaudy. This is probably the first one I've seen where I can actually say, you know what, I think that actually looks decent. It'd be interesting to see how that looks in motion. We'll see if we can get our hands on one of these Lucid Airs and actually get to drive it. Don't know if anybody in Shreveport has one, but hopefully we'll figure that out anyway. How about the design of the mirrors? Now, I like the fact that you have a little bit of a contrast there because it's not gloss black, it's not all one color. That works really well. Obviously, you're gonna have multiple cameras all around the vehicle, including what's within the mirror right there. Kind of hard to show, but let Carrie kind of give you a view right there. Power adjustable, all that good stuff. And then let's work our way here to the rear. Now, one thing I really like are the body lines. When you look at the curvature of the roof, something that's very unusual with this rear area being open right here, it's kind of hard to show, but it's not just your traditional coming from the rear of the roof to the window look. It just has a very unique shape to it, even with your little quarter window right there. Little small window, but it fits, it works, kind of just making use of that space. Now, what I'm really impressed with is what we have back here. Number one, I like the design of the taillights. What we have here, that looks nice. Now, we also are going to have some lighting up here, but you'll see if Carrie can show you. With this being open, it's a little bit harder to show, but I think he got you a good shot. The thing is, I feel like if I said hello, it would echo back to me because there is so much space within this area that's actually designed, well, to hold a lot of things, but especially if you're that golfer and you had to have your friends going with you. You could fit, I think, 3 or 4 golf bags, maybe at least 3 in there, I'd say, maybe not 4, but full of clubs, easily 2, that would be no problem. But there is so much space in there that you really aren't going to run out. And guess what? You even have more space underneath here. So if you have a Brazilian golf balls, they can all fit right in there. That would be no problem, or whatever else you want to put in there. Very well done and very well put together, but I think the coolest thing here is the interior. In fact, let me show you one thing that we're going to have, which is going to be the power shade. I'm going to let Carrie actually work that for you and show you how that works. So you've got the privacy shade there. That's power. That's a good thing. We'll bring that up and then bring that back down. Now let's do the armrest test. I always like to put my arm on here. When you push on that, it's almost as if you're testing for the doneness of a steak. Is it rare? Is it medium? What is it? That kind of stuff. I did that wrong, by the way, but it's okay. This isn't a cooking channel. But you press on it like that, it kind of feels firm. But when you put your arm up there, it doesn't really feel too bad. Nice large door bins, nice interior colors. Let's see how it actually feels to sit inside. We'll see here. I'm going to tell you what. There is space for miles. You can see how much space there is. You're going to have your rear air conditioning vents here. I'm going to let Carrie go to the other side here, and we're going to show you what we have. It's a lot easier to do it this way, and then he can hop on inside here because I do want to show you the rear air conditioning vents and what we have here on the rear of the center console. You can also turn on the heated seats right there if you want to. Have some other things that can be done here. How cool is that? Different things you can do. There's your air conditioning vents, and then right here, a little bit of storage space. And what I like, let's see how that opens if I just do it like that. It does open kind of quickly, but it doesn't seem cheap. Very high end, and for the price that you pay for these vehicles, well, you would expect that they would be. If I'd call that a rear seat pocket or not. Kind of a little bit different, but there is space back there one way or another. And above us, I'll let Carrie show you what's there. See how the glass here on the roof goes all the way back. And then if you look at the front, kind of an interesting look up there as far as that overall design. You can even see some of the ambient lighting right there, but your visors right there for your sun to block the sun out, just kind of almost in a floating position. Obviously they're attached, but the way they look, it just kind of looks like they're just floating there. Speaking of that, why don't we hop into the front seat and we'll show you what you'll find in that area. And by the way, I did show you the air conditioning vents on the rear of the center console. Well, those aren't the only ones. You also have the vents right here. So your rear seat passengers should stay nice and cool during the summer and nice and warm during the winter. And there's so much here that I just can't get out of the back seat yet. But here is the fold down, really more of a center console than an armrest. You could use it as an armrest, but you can see the cup holders right here. Now those do seem a little bit small. I don't know, that seems like, depending on what you're drinking, if somebody has a big gulp, they're keeping it between their legs if you're not holding it. That's just not going to fit there. So that may be an area of improvement right there. I hate to sound the gong on you, Lucid, but we're just showing what's here. And a little bit of space within the center console, so that's good. And obviously, when you don't need that, you can fold that away. There is a pass-through right here, by the way, as well, trying to cover every little thing. I think Carrie might even want me to tell you about the torque specs for the lug nuts on the wheels. This feature is nothing new, but it is the best I have ever seen. It's the quickest I have ever seen. A lot of vehicles, even some Land Rovers that I know we have reviewed in the past, we'd close the doors and say, oh, it doesn't have the soft close feature. And by the time you said that, it would start to close. Watch this. See how quickly that works? That is the quickest I have ever seen. Okay guys, let's start off talking here about the front seat area. Let's look at the door panel over there. I'll tell you what really impresses me about that is the size of that door bin. It's ginormous. That's an interesting word to use, but it is big. Plenty of space. Is the armrest comfortable? Let's let Carrie tell you about that and see what he thinks. He thinks it's comfortable, so it must be. One thing that's interesting here is the fact that you're going to have different colors in the front seat than you do in the rear. And I think that's actually really cool that Lucid has done that the way that they have. Just something to separate themselves apart. It's not your typical look of most vehicles that have the same color throughout in the front seat and the back seat. Obviously, you're going to have power seats, all that good stuff, everything as you would expect, heated, ventilated, all of that. But I'm gonna let Carrie hop on inside here and show you where the real action is. A very futuristic, I wouldn't even call it modern, a futuristic look. And I like the fact that you kind of have a floating screen here. That's basically what it is. You can see the space underneath there, a little bit of a curvature to it to make that driver focused. And you've got your contrast stitching here. A lot of attention to detail, that's for sure. Nothing seems cheap here. I really like that. And with your screens right here, let me do one thing. We're gonna push that and show you what comes up right there. There are all kinds of things that you can see, things you can do. I'm not gonna go through everything, but we have a lot going on here. There's even some space beneath the screen right there. Hopefully you can see that. Carrie, show you that right there. Obviously, our screen right here. A lot going on. You're going to be able to wirelessly pair your phone, all those things that I probably don't need to tell you about. And let me grab the camera from Carrie and show you what you see from the driver's perspective right here as far as the digital display goes. Hey, did they borrow this from Cadillac by any chance? Sorry, Lucid, I couldn't help. But we're just having some fun, being a little sarcastic, making people laugh. But you can see your steering wheel here that is very comfortable. And one thing that I like about this that might seem kind of strange is that the steering wheel isn't too thin when you wrap your hand around it. That seems to be on the level of luxury that Lucid is wanting to achieve here, and obviously has. Here are your steering wheel mounted controls, everything you would expect to see. Obviously, you even get the turn signal option, all that good stuff. Everything you would expect to see is here. I'm going to hand this back to Carrie real quick so we can finish up a couple of little things here as far as the vehicle goes, just to show you some of the screen activity here. Now, one thing you will notice is that you don't have a lot of physical buttons and switches. So there's a lot of things you'll have to come into the screen to work on, settings to change, all that kind of stuff. Here's where you're going to find things such as your cup holders and wireless charging and all of that. Now, one thing I am a little surprised at is how small the center console is. That's kind of like almost like a Fisher-Price size console, but it's pretty small. But it's there, that's what you get. What do you think about that? We're gonna put our arm up here on the armrest that doubles as the lid for the center console, just so you can see how that looks. It's comfortable. And you know, one thing that does surprise me here is that there's no oh crap handles. I'm a little surprised at that, because you can have a ridiculous amount of horsepower with this particular model. And I want to let Carrie show you the visor up here, because there are some interesting little characteristics to that you might want to see. Watch this. This is magnetized in two different directions. You've got your mirror right there with your lights, but it's magnetized in that up position and in the down position right there. And while he shows you that, there are several different options as far as horsepower and torque numbers go, as low as 819 horsepower and into the thousands of horsepower, well over 1,000 horsepower. Somebody buy one of these so I can drive it down to Northwest Louisiana. But tell me what you think about this Lucid Air. I know a lot of you have wanted me to show it to you. There's so many videos here already, but here's what it is. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think, and tell me what else you want to see. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed just yet, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.